that unites Nigeria.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link. And be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Search for missing Air Force jet intensifies even in the face of uncertainty. Ahead of Easter festivities, President Buhari calls for renewal of faith and belief in Nigeria's unity.
Government has moved proactively to address most of the issues ahead of your comment.
Resident doctors halt planned industrial action as consultations continue.
ICT sector performed more than 3 times the performance of the second most performing sector of our economy.
Plus, advances in ICT applications promise brighter economic prospects for Nigeria. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stober in Abuja. Sincere apologies for starting off a couple of minutes behind schedule. Some challenges here with us. Jennifer Igwe joins me from Lagos. Efforts have been intensified towards the recovery of the missing Alpha jet belonging to the Nigerian Air Force, which went missing while conducting a mission. A tweet by the NAV Director Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabwet, indicates that the incident occurred on Wednesday night at one of the theaters of operation in northern Nigeria. The Nigerian Air Force says it is currently conducting a rescue mission for the pilots. The Alpha jet is a light attack and advanced trainer aircraft which has played a significant role in counterinsurgency missions under Operation Lafia Doli in the northeast. In the meantime, the Nigerian military is optimistic that Poland's willingness to supply military hardware to Nigeria will enhance the firepower of the troops in the ongoing counter-terrorism campaign in the northeast. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, stated this while receiving the Polish ambassador to Nigeria, Joanna Magdalena Tarnowska, on a working visit to the Army headquarters, Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details of the visit and other engagements of the Army Chief.
In improvised explosive device, IED, is among the major threats to the decade-long counter-insurgency operation in northeast Nigeria. To overcome this, the military requires high-tech armored personnel carriers to safeguard troops on operation and mine detectors to locate and detonate hidden mines littered in some parts of the northeast.
Let me also appreciate the government of Poland for considering to sell high-quality armaments and military equipment to Nigeria. These critical equipments needed will include combat vehicle tracked, counter-IED equipment.
We would like to cooperate with Nigeria in any challenges that the country may face in terms of security. We acknowledge how much has already been done.
Similarly, the presidential think tank team on defense and security were in the army headquarters to solicit multi-sectoral approach to stem emerging threats. In the meantime, the National Governing Board, National Youth Service Corps, has appealed to the Nigerian Army to deploy troops to NYSC orientation camps across the country.
Especially because of the growing insecurity, challenges of abductions and kidnappings.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atairu, says the Army will support the NYSC in the quest to achieve its mandate. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, says provisions of the 2020 and 2021 budgets are no doubt accelerating the effort of the federal government towards achieving a highly organized armed forces. This was his assertion while receiving the Senate Committee on Defense on a two-day oversight tour of the ministry. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
Status of allocations for capital projects and successes recorded so far in the fight against insurgency were the areas that the minister explained.
We give them answers with a view to improving the security situation in the country.
The main question is now security challenges. But along the way, we also discussed budget matters, budget from the previous years, current year, and so on.
At the Defense Research and Development Bureau, the senators were briefed on processes towards attaining maximum operational competency of the armed forces.
The money has been very well spent, and for the things that we are doing, a lot has to do with helping to solve a lot of the problems that our troops are facing in the northeast, in the northwest, north central, in the issues of insurgency, banditry, and all.
The commercial technology, the modification you are talking about, the armed forces is already doing a lot on that, sir.
Benchmark what we and correct us and help us where necessary. Thank you very much.
Ethics bordering on cyber warfare were also brought up at the oversight, and the committee assured of commitment to ensuring efficient administration in the nation's defense sector. In Abuja, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
The Senate Committee on Federal Capital Territory has reaffirmed the position of the Senate on the independence of the FCT Inland Revenue Service and its separation from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Chairman of the committee, Senator Abubakar Kyari, made this known while speaking at the 2021 budget interaction with the chairman of the FCT Inland Revenue Service. The committee also reacted to the provision of 1 billion naira to be paid to the Federal Inland Revenue Service by the FCT Inland Revenue Service.
What is that 1 billion for? So we have a transition arrangement with FRS in which they gave us 8 of their offices that was already collecting on behalf of FCT. They were using 220 staff to do this work when they were FRS. We requested for half, so they gave us 117 staff. So they gave us 10 vehicles, gave us 117 staff. So we agreed that we will pay them some percentage of our collection. We have agreed that that's it, nothing more will be paid to FIRS. They're not to collect anything on your behalf. We have given you all the support that you require, 100%, and you are still charging 1 billion again to go to FIRS. For what?
You intend to buy some properties. The chairman, I don't think buying of of properties for your offices should be a priority now. Please, we need as much money as possible for FCT to undertake various developmental projects.
The committee harped on the need for the automation of the operations of FCT Inland Revenue Service for efficient service delivery. President Muhammadu Buhari has formally approached the Senate for the confirmation of Justice Salisu Garba Abdullahi as the substantive Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says the President made the request pursuant to Section 256, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. In the letter dated April 1, 2021, President Buhari urged the Senate to effect the confirmation in the usual expeditious manner. Justice Salisu Garba Abdullahi has been in acting capacity as Chief Judge of the High Court of the FCT since the retirement of former Chief Judge of the FCT, Justice Ishaq Bello. The U.S. Department of State says there's no verifiable evidence on the reported killings of NSAS protesters at the Lekki tollgate on October 20 last year. In a report entitled 2020 Country Reports on Human Rights Practices, Nigeria, and released on Tuesday, the United States explains that accurate information on fatalities resulting from the shooting was not available at the end of the year 2020. The Nigerian government had earlier disputed a report by Amnesty International alleging 10 casualties, a claim yet to be substantiated by any other organization or group. The U.S. report also touches on the issues of extrajudicial killings, insurgency and corruption, as well as banditry in Nigeria, acknowledging the efforts of the government in ensuring good governance in the country. In the meantime, the Buhari Media Organization has described the U.S. report as a vindication of the administration's stance that troops did not open fire on protesters and calls the report a further dent in the credibility of Amnesty International. BMO says the U.S. human rights report has shown the unreliability of Amnesty International as an unbiased witness of truth, as well as called to question the motive of the organizers of the NSAS in seeking to blackmail the government and cause global disaffection against Nigeria by spreading deliberate falsehood. The group adds that President Buhari would continue to respect and uphold the fundamental rights of all Nigerians, regardless of their religious, ethnic, or political persuasions. President Muhammadu Buhari is rejoicing with Christendom as millions of the faithful celebrate Easter this year. The President salutes the resilience and understanding of Christians who could not attend traditional church services for celebration last year due to the coronavirus pandemic and expresses delight at the opportunity for brethren to congregate and worship together, though cautiously. President Buhari reminds Christian faithful that Easter is an opportunity to renew hope and faith, show love and appreciation to one another, and not despair, no matter the challenges of the period, assuring them that government will continue to ensure that the weak, the poor, and the underprivileged are not abandoned. The President deeply acknowledges and appreciates the sacrifices of frontline doctors and nurses for their tireless efforts to keep the population healthy in the face of COVID-19, as well as law enforcement and military personnel who continue to confront evil-minded individuals through the darkest of nights to keep Nigerians safe. President Buhari congratulates Christians on the occasion of Easter, even as he extends his appreciation to Nigerians who are adhering to various interventions to curb the spread of COVID-19 and embrace vaccination, while urging citizens to act responsibly in celebrating. And the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has felicitated with Nigerians, particularly the Christian faithful, as they join the rest of the Christian world in celebrating Easter. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Olawuni, Senator Lawan noted that Easter is one of the most important events in the Christian calendar, which is to celebrate the sacrificial death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. The President of the Senate urged Nigerians to use the occasion to preach religious tolerance, love for neighbors, and commitment to civic responsibilities while observing all the COVID-19 safety protocols. He reiterated the resolve of the National Assembly to continue to work for the Nigerian people in their legitimate pursuit of peace, happiness, and prosperity. And as Christians the world over prepare for the 2021 Easter celebration, clerics in the Federal Capital Territory have called on the faithful to use the occasion to express love to humanity in the donation of alms to the needy and the less privileged in society. They also call for strict adherence to preventive measures against coronavirus during the festivities. Alika Panachi brings us a report on public expectation during this year's Easter celebration.
Easter is one of the oldest festivals in the Christian calendar, being one of the pillars the Christian faith is hinged on. It is the celebration of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. As many Nigerians get busy with last-minute preparations and recalling with nostalgia the 2020 Easter celebration, which was done behind closed doors due to the coronavirus pandemic, they are grateful for the grace to celebrate the 2021 Easter with family and friends.
Last year, the major problem we have was the coronavirus. At least we still thank God that this year is better off than last year.
Especially just for more vaccine, that we are praying that by this time next year there should nothing like corona again.
This time last year, we were suffering from consequences of coronavirus. Now you can see we're trying to recover from that, So I think the fact that there is life, the gift of life, is worth celebrating every day.
Chaplain, NTA Chapel of Resurrection, Reverend Jacob Kano Ibiton, advised Christians across the country to emulate the life of Christ and live in peace with one another for the progress and prosperity of Nigeria.
See ourselves as one. And if we see ourselves as one, we should work together as one Nigeria. And with that, we will witness more progress in all nooks and crannies in this country.
A message to our government is, if Christ crucified, resurrected, it means that so many things dead in this nation can also be resurrected.
They also maintain that Nigeria is not out of the woods yet, hence the need for the public to adhere to all COVID-19 safety protocols in the course of the celebration. In Abuja, Alika Opanachi, Arua, NTA News.
Let's now bring you some messages. We'll be back shortly.
Bunch of broomsticks symbolize immense strength in unity of numbers. APC, unarguably the largest political party this side of sub-Saharan Africa, strategically chose the broom to convey all that the party stands for. Unity, strength, and diversity. In the APC, everyone matters. President Muhammadu Buhari are making giant strides in the areas of infrastructure, such as railways, road networks, strategic bridges, more schools, hospitals, provision of funding for agriculture and SMEs. No administration has made so much investment in youth, women, and people living with disabilities. Take a stand today. Welcome to the APC.
This message is sponsored by the caretaker chairman of the All Progressive Congress and the executive governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Mai Malabuni.
Happy Easter from the Federal Road Safety Commission.
The Federal Road Safety Corps appreciates your compliance with road traffic rules and regulations and felicitates with Christian faithfuls on the Easter celebrations. In view of massive road construction and rehabilitations going on in the country, the Corps urges road users to obey road traffic signs and signals at construction areas and further plan your movements. Ensure that your vehicle is roadworthy to avoid breakdown on the highways.
Avoid long talks, use of phones and other distractions while driving. Park safely and rehydrate if thirsty. Overloading of vehicles with persons or goods is dangerous for you and other road users. Avoid night trips. Limit speed when driving on unfamiliar roads.
Occupants of front and back seats to fasten their seatbelts. Drive to save a life. The call wishes you a successful Easter celebration. Happy Easter.
The Federal Road Safety Commission is committed to creating a safer motoring environment.
As you adjust to the new realities for operating your business and engaging with your customers, let us help you transform your business into a digital powerhouse capable of adapting and taking advantage of today's opportunities. With our best-in-class array of digital solutions, you can conduct your business, receive payments from your customers, and perform transactions quickly, safely, and conveniently, because we've got you covered with the right people, technology, and service offerings. Contact us today and let us take your business to its zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Guess what?
What?
I scored a hat trick today.
Cool.
Wow.
And how did you celebrate?
Just do your hands like this.
And hold your nose like this.
Body odor is caused by germs. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which protects against 99.9% odor-causing germs with an extra burst of menthol freshness. Dettol, be 100% sure.
This looks different.
It is. See for yourself.
Okay, so it's a photo.
Look closer. Photos within photos.
What about video?
8K video. Beyond cinema quality.
So...
You can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
The petroleum tanker drivers of Nupeng, in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps, we felicitate with all Christians as we celebrate Easter. In line with the spirit of the season, we are enjoining all to ensure tolerance for others and obedience to the rule of law. Drive safely as you travel. Ensure your vehicles are in roadworthy conditions. Don't drink and drive. Don't overspeed, overload, use cell phones while driving, and always wear your seat belts. Remember, COVID is still here. Do adhere to all COVID protocols. Your life is valuable to your loved ones and the nation. For emergencies, please call 122. Happy Easter. Comrade Salmon Akoni Oladiti, Chairman, Nupeng PTD, Announcer.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, invites the general public to a town hall meeting on national security. Theme is Setting Benchmarks for Enhanced Security and National Unity in Nigeria. Date is Thursday, 8th of April 2021. Time is 10 a.m. Venue is 1,000-seat capacity Main Lecture Hall of Kaduna State University, Kaduna. Lead presenter, Professor Jibrin Ibrahim. Discussants are Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika, Professor Chudi Uwazurike, Professor Sakanuru, and Professor Mrs. Kokore Egafona. His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, will virtually declare the event open. For transportation and logistics to Kaduna and back, kindly call Moses on 0816-985-8109 or Sam on 0808-800-6035. Signed, Dr. Ifama Adaura Anyawutaku, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Be there.
The digital switchover team is putting up a proposal to the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to ask for reduction in the tariff paid on raw materials for the manufacturing of the set-top boxes and other components in Nigeria. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said this in a virtual meeting organized by AIM Media Company Limited in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission on digital switchover. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Virtual meeting has in attendance content producers, signal distributors, and media chief executives. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed said federal government will also support channel owners and content providers.
Very soon, APCON and the National Broadcasting Commission will sign an MOU on zero advertising debts to ensure that revenue from advertisers goes to the media owners.
Chairman of DG Team Edward Amana is optimistic that the switchover will have positive impacts on the nation's GDP.
Totality of 168 megahertz UHF spectrum has the potential to fetch the country minimum $2.35 billion.
Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, in his submission said NTA remains a critical stakeholder in the value chain of the switchover.
I can confidently say that the NTA can claim to have pioneered digital broadcasting in Nigeria with the introduction of its multi-channels in 2016. In conjunction with the Star Times television network.
Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, reminded the entire value chain team on the need for them to be mindful of the broadcasting code, which has not changed.
We are not going to allow things that are professionally wrong or things that are incriminating with regards to the ethical considerations. We rely more on technology in terms of monitoring, also the capacity for effective enforcement.
Us as broadcasters too, we need to up our game. We need to improve the quality of our content, both the technical quality and the editorial quality.
April 29 of this year has been slated for the phase 2 rollouts of the switchover. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Following allegations of extortion and bribery for NIN registration across states in Nigeria, NTA sought the views of some residents of two northern states of Sokoto and Borno on the subject matter.
When I went to collect my slip, she said I should pay 2,000, which I paid. I collected my slip.
Rukaya Saidu recalls her rather tough experience in getting her NIN registration done. Reports of alleged extortions, especially from ecosystem registration centers, have been making the rounds in Sokoto State, although some residents have a different but encouraging stories.
No, I didn't pay. Just I should come back next week to collect my national ID. I don't know. It might actually be those that didn't register. Maybe they have issues.
Gaskiya ban biya ko sisi ba saboda wajen gaskiya ba su asacce hanci. Saboda gaskiya wajen sun tsare gaskiyar su.
In Maiduguri, the situation is different following the intervention of the state government by establishing 21 additional centers, which has made the process seamless and devoid of extortion.
I didn't pay any amount. I did it freely. They asked me to provide my date of birth, which is the declaration of age.
We don't collect money here. I repeat, we don't collect money here because we have been warned through the DSS office because first of the procedure of the training, we have been taken to DSS and all our document, passport, there is all there, our address is all there.
As the enrollment of NIN continues across the country, it is hoped that registration process will be hitch-free. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Well, more than 51 million Nigerians have so far been enrolled for the national mandatory national identification number by the National Identity Management Commission. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, stated this while giving an update on the enrollment exercise. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
Today we live in a country where our population is being estimated by saying plus minus 10 million. Are you happy with this? nobody will be happy. Plus minus 10 million is enough to be a population of another country.
The ongoing enrollment exercise for the National Identification Number, the minister insists, is critical towards achieving a complete and reliable database for Nigerian citizens. He reminded Nigerians to enroll in their own interest, warning that those yet to obtain the National Identification Number risk a 14-year jail term as stipulated by the Nigerian Constitution.
As the minister in charge of the sector, this is one of the most difficult decisions we have taken, but it becomes necessary in order to ensure we contribute our quota in making our country safe and secure for all.
The minister said for citizens to conduct certain activities or enjoy government services, including obtaining voters' cards and opening a bank account in the country without the national identification number, is an offense.
Mr. President has appointed me to ensure laws and policies of government are implemented. With all sense of humility and responsibility, we want to ensure our laws are respected, and we will go to any extent to convince our citizens to respect the law, and we will do our best to enforce the law in collaboration with other stakeholders and security agencies.
He said no country will be successful in education, health, budget, or national planning without a database of its citizens in place. The Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, Aliyu Abdulaziz Abubakar, reacts to alleged widespread extortion of enrollees by the registration officials and touts.
NIN is free, and it is free for all citizens, therefore that nobody should pay any person. So, and you know it is a crime from the giver and also the taker. All our staff that are found wanting, we discipline them, but we are not in charge of what happens outside the centers. If there are touts, the security agencies are also working on that, and they have been catching a lot of people. So my advice is for people to resist, because enrollment is free. And even the private sector people that have been engaged now, it's government that is going to pay them for the activities that they do.
The Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy expressed the belief that at the end of the registration exercise, each and every SIM in Nigeria will be attached to its rightful owner. From the State House, Adam Musambo, NTA News.
Well, the authorities here are quite excited over Nigeria's digital revolution, saying it contributed significantly to the nation's exit from economic recession faster than anticipated. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, stated this while briefing newsmen on the activities of his ministry since coming to office. And this was at the 6th State House briefing organized by the Presidential Communications team, from where Adamu Sambu reports.
Part of the responsibility given to us by Mr. President was to develop the national digital economy policy and strategy for a digital Nigeria.
That has been accomplished, and 8 critical pillars unveiled, thereby unleashing the nation's digital potential. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, described the journey so far as enriching and impactful on Nigeria's economy. He said apart from regulating the sector for developmental purposes, more than a record 10% broadband penetration has been achieved within 1 year.
Many experts predicted that we will exit recession at the end of 2021, but at the end of 2020, we exited recession. Why? With all sense of humility, it significantly depends on the success of the digital economy sector. ICT sector grew by 14.70%, followed by another sector which grew by 3.41%. ICT sector is more than 4 times the performance of the second most performing sector. In the entire year, between January to December 2020, ICT sector grew by 12.90%, followed by another sector which grew by 3%, meaning ICT sector performed more than 3 times the performance of the second most performing sector of our economy. And by implication, ICT sector complemented the negative performance of other sector, and this played a significant role in pulling out our country from recession.
The minister takes pride in the various reform initiatives by his ministry, thereby making digital economy all-inclusive and indispensable for sustainable future of Nigeria.
We must produce what we eat, and we must eat what we produce. Before the end of our administration, we want to ensure that whatever we have the capacity to develop locally, there is no any room for importation. This is an avenue for us to create many jobs for our citizens. It is an effort of government to ensure that as long as our citizens have the capacity to do, the priority and preference must be given to them.
In the last 1.5 years, he said more than a dozen policies have been developed and being implemented with significant impact on other critical sectors of the economy.
Minister, you deserve congratulations by Nigerians. Your team has done so well, so much, moving this sector to become a very strong pillar of the nation's economy at a time when virtually every sector has been hit and brought down by the corona epidemic. You have grown by 14.70. This is first class, and I'm not sure this is beaten by any other country.
Chief executive officers of the various departments and agencies under the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy were present at the briefing. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And now for what would effectively drive ICT, the power sector. In a bid to effect quality control in the power sector, the federal government is putting up mechanisms to ensure adherence to technical requirements in providing the 36 million meters as directed by the President. Minister of State for Power, Godi Jediagba, gave the indication during an inspection tour of a test station in Enugu. Susan Eze reports.
While the federal government follows up on the plan to meter all electricity consumers in the country, it is also taking steps to regulate the quality of meters being procured to ensure they meet the requirements of the Nigerian metering code. To serve the Southeast Zone, a meter test station is on the way in Enugu. Minister of State Power, after inspecting the facility, is satisfied with what is on ground so far.
If they import them, our facility here will test that it is what meets what Nigeria requires before you install.
The minister, however, frowned at some unprofessional connections he observed on the streets while on the official visit. When fully functional, the Managing Director, Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, NEMSA, explains that beyond certifying meters for use in Nigeria, the test stations will also carry out periodic tests on the meters, all in the bid to ensure safety and that customers are not shortchanged.
Every country of this world has their own technical requirements, specification for any equipment, and for meter in Nigeria is the Nigerian metering code. So any meter that has not passed through here cannot be installed, cannot be used.
The test station is expected to be ready by May 2021. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And the Rural Electrification Agency has inaugurated a 60-kilowatt solar hybrid mini-grid project at the Obudu Cattle Ranch and performed a groundbreaking for another 100 kilowatts mini-grid at the Bottom Hill community of Obanliku local government area of Cross River State. Esue Dodi reports that the new project in Obudu, which was inaugurated by the Minister of State Power, Jedi Agba, is designed to change the socio-economic status of the people of Obudu.
Famous Obudu Cattle Ranch, described by many as nature at its splendor, with captivating and breathtaking hills, is always a tourist delight. Behind this beauty of nature lies the challenge of power supply, but that narrative is now changed, as the 60-kilowatt solar hybrid mini-grid embarked upon by the Rural Electrification Agency brightens the Obudu Cattle Ranch.
This project is bringing life again back to the ranch resort.
Down from the hills another excitement builds up. This time it is because of the groundbreaking ceremony of 100 kilowatts mini grid at the Bottom Hill community, with expected benefits abound to improve the lives and livelihood of beneficiaries.
The motto of electrifying Nigeria, one community at a time, will stand, and we're doing it all around. Phase 1 is over, we're going to phase 2, we will go around all the communities.
Project is part of a program that is nationwide, where the government is now leveraging more on renewable energy through solar, hydro, and other clean energy technologies to provide access to electricity to unserved and underserved communities. The state has been eager to achieve. Now that it has been achieved, it's going to boost the economy of the ranch resort itself and the immediate community.
From Obudu Cattle Ranch, Esu Edodi, NTA News.
Now we go over to Jennifer Iguena, Lagos Center for more. Jennifer.
Thank you, Cyril. Now, Nigeria, as a multilingual nation with over 500 languages, needs an effective national language policy to harness its linguistic resources to drive the country towards achieving its developmental goals. This is why the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council organized a workshop in Lagos. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
Stakeholders and experts from various sectors across the country critiquing the national language policy draft to come up with realistic and implementable policy provisions that would not generate controversies. The document that will be birthed out of this series of brainstorming sessions is expected to drive the attainment of national identity, dignity, and unity.
The whole purpose of the policy is you formulate the use of this language, of all these languages where, feasible, so that you have inclusion. And that would improve on your educational pursuit, in your legislation, in your, in all aspects.
Languages would be taken as national assets, would be taken as repositories of our cultures.
There are major indigenous languages that are well known, but those other languages that are not well known, I think with this workshop, they can be brought to the limelight and they too can be incorporated.
When we have this language policy in place, we'll be able to utilize it, and it will assist us tremendously for the development, for the technological development of the country.
The success of the workshop, experts believe, will further consolidate the ministerial strategic plan for education in Nigeria, which is Education for Change 2018 to 2022. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And for activities at the borders, the Nigerian Customs Service Semi-Border Command has found a winning formula in the fight against smuggling activities and is committed to nurturing the partnership with host communities to sustain the tempo. Michael Olaleye reports that this renewed relationship resulted in the seizure of 705 category of items from December till date.
Border communities like Seme have a lot of experiences to chronicle the fact that there is a thin line between smuggling and drug trafficking. This understanding perhaps propelled the customs to boost surveillance along the waterways and creeks, which led to the seizure of 232 parcels of cannabis sativa valued at 2.9 million naira. While receiving the illicit substances from the customs, the NDLEA disclosed that the parcels came in from Ghana and offloaded at the beach area for upward transit to syndicates.
We are going to look for the owners of this exhibit because there are abandoned seizures. The present NDLEA has all what it takes to identify the culprit behind this, because that is the icing on the cake to bring the perpetrators to justice.
Their task before the Semi-Border Command is enormous, but a synergy with the communities within the period under review led to the seizure of 98 vehicles, while reminding the public that a ban on land importation of vehicles subsists. The customs said most of the seized cars have questionable documents.
In the vehicle, we were able to see forged custom documents. The vehicle was arrested on the 11th, and the document we found inside said the vehicle was released on the 12th and exited on the 12th.
As a way of reciprocating the mutual relationship with the community, an ultra-modern toilet facility was provided at the market, while 5,000 container capacity bonded terminal has also been provided in readiness for importation of goods from third world countries. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
We'll pause now for a break. The news will continue afterwards with Cyril in Abuja. Stay tuned.
We just having a good time, and I'm feeling so good tonight.
Where you did? I dey come now. You go see me now. You go.
Call your party and everybody, yeah. Make we start to the corner.
Where you did now? You go see me now.
Everybody they dance.
Where you did now? You go see me now. I'm fine, sir. Even me I surprised. Hello, how are you?
Tell us one truth nobody knows.
I like to steam it from my mama's pot.
Glow, the best data plans in town. Dial *777#.
Guess what?
What?
I scored a hat trick today.
Cool.
Wow.
And how did you celebrate?
Just do your hands like this.
And hold your nose like this.
Body odor is caused by germs. That's why you need the new improved Dettol Cool Soap, which protects against 99.9% odor-causing germs with an extra burst of menthol freshness. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
We just heard gunshots, north of the advanced position. This enemy is not fighting a conventional war.
Our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance platform will point the army to their location.
We're being deployed to the trouble spot.
We have a cover in the air. And what's the situation?
The enemy is still out there, and the nation is counting on us. And I am counting on you guys. This does not smell good.
I saw his jet go down, but I didn't spot him eject.
I'll just like for you both to make their promise. Hey, we don't need this energy.
Here, we stand for our men, while our husbands stand for our nation.
Eagle Wings, showing in a cinema near you.
We're back in Abuja now. A non-governmental organization and cultural advocacy group the Tatsunia Network has embarked on an intervention to upscale Nigerian culture through animation. This comes following predictions by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, on the probability of many Nigerian languages going extinct in 50 years if deliberate efforts are not made towards the preservation of Nigerian languages. Bosade Abel was at the Historical Transformation Business Dinner, which doubled as an avenue to launch one of the group's projects, Indigenous Folktales of Yesteryears.
Culture as a way of life is an heritage worth preserving. The dominance of Western culture over the years has in no small measure contributed to the erosion of Aboriginal languages and culture across the world, Nigeria inclusive. With a vision to restore some Nigerian cultures while preserving others through the Search Inward initiative, Tatsunia Network promotes culture using indigenous cartoon series that reflect the way of life in northern Nigeria, with other cultures in view for production.
If we can support this project and let the people out there know that there's something coming up. We are having our own Disney World in Nigeria. There's so much more we can do. Nigerians can do so much. You don't have to depend on the white people.
One of the series, Dan Outer and the Beast, captured the life of a young brave man who fought passionately for the liberation of his people. The launch of what they call the Audacious African Project brought together relevant stakeholders in government and traditional cycles to ensure that the message gets to the grassroots.
For us to actually develop Africa, we need to think like Africans.
When you look at what is happening in our communities and in our societies and in our country, that something must be done. We can't allow things to go the way they are going.
That's only thing that she has brought up about now will go a long way to reshape the morale of our young ones.
Tatsunia Network seeks to partner with other bodies with the aim of showcasing the cultural beauty of Nigerian people and Africa as a whole. Boss Day Able, NTA News.
Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, Bello Hassan, has tasked professional auditors who are members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria to consistently uphold the core values of accuracy and integrity. He made the call when he received a delegation from ICANN on a courtesy visit to the NDIC head office in Abuja. The NDIC MD explained that both the NDIC and Central Bank of Nigeria relied on the works of third parties, which include external auditors and reporting accountants in the risk-based supervision of deposit-taking institutions.
And it is on this note that I want to urge members of the Institute to continue to live by the motto of the Institute, that is accuracy and integrity. Because that is the only way we can continue to earn the respect and confidence of the users of the end product of chartered accountants. We want to see a consistency of the auditors' work.
He therefore stressed the need for ICANN members to ensure strict compliance with the high standards expected by the institutions in the discharge of their responsibilities, and reiterated the corporation's commitment towards continued collaboration with the Institute in enhancing the skills and capacity of members in its employment. The ICANN delegation was made up of top council members led by Sofura Segosime, who represented the council's national president on the occasion. Chairperson Abuja District of ICANN and other executive members of ICANN were also part of the delegation. 16,000 women drawn from the 16 local government areas of Kwara State are to benefit from the Aliko Dangote Foundation micro-grant with a view to lifting them out of poverty in consonance with President Buhari's vision. Olajide Bello was at the symbolic inauguration of the grant at Bodisadu in Moro local government area of the state. Now reports.
The Aliko Dangote Foundation is the corporate social responsibility arm of Dangote Group, saddled with the responsibility to contributing over $100 million in charitable funds to facilitate health, education and empowerment initiative. Over 400,000 women have benefited since inception, and with a drive to cover the whole country before 2022.
The microgrants program is one of the components of the economic empowerment pillars of the Aliko Dangote Foundation. We will provide the 16,000 vulnerable women so identified by your selection committee with a one-off grant of 10,000 naira cash, which we hope they will use either to expand their small businesses or indeed to start new ones.
This sort of micro-intervention could be truly impactful. There are testimonials of many beneficiaries using SAVE to make a difference.
Maria Sunday has been in the tailoring business for more than 15 years, and funds have been a major source of concern, causing a constant decline to the success of her business. The micro-grants program, according to her, is like a light coming at the end of the tunnel.
God bless you, our Aliko Dangote, to help me to buy materials. I sew clothes.
I thank God for using Aliko Dangote as a channel of blessing to me and my business. The money will be judiciously used. I will add this money to my savings and purchase more goods than I used to before.
The 10 billion naira project will be extended to the 774 local government areas in the country for the likes of Maria in other states of the Federation. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Time for another quick message.
Hungry, tired, often dehydrated, yet risking their lives. This is the predicament at least 13.2 million Nigerian children find themselves in every day.
The number of children we have out of school now is actually a consequence of the poor quality of education.
Government itself needs to begin to think differently about education.
And that is why we are also at this moment planning a comprehensive curricular review.
If you do not have appropriate education, you may end up being a fodder for those who are going to try to cause economic or social mishaps.
The Eze of Arochukwu Kingdom in Abia State, Mazi Vincent Ogbonnaya Okoro, is dead. Aged 88, the Aro monarch died after 25 years on the throne. The late Eze Aro retired as the chief medical laboratory scientist at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Enugu, to ascend the throne in 1995. Week-long funeral ceremonies of the late Eze begins in Arochukwu Kingdom tomorrow, the 2nd of April, and will be rounded off on Easter Monday at the Arochukwu Cultural and Civic Center. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has sent his condolences to the Aros at home and abroad and around the world. The government and people of Abia State on the death of the Eze Arochukwu Kingdom. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media, Femi Adesina, President Buhari described the late Eze Aro as a statesman and a nationalist whose valued contributions to nation building, conflict prevention, management and resolution cannot be quantified. And that concludes Network News tonight. We thank you for watching, and remember to connect with the NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Cyril Stover. Good night.